Drones in Conservation, a Technology Profile Report. You hear a lot about drones these days, but what is a drone? A type of bee? The low thrum of a bagpipe in the distance? Well, yes, but that's not the type of drone we're talking about here. Drones in conservation are unmanned aerial vehicles, remotely controlled devices that fly at low elevations, carrying cameras, GPS systems, and other measuring devices to collect data. Drones can gather valuable information from places where it would be arduous or even impossible for a human to reach by land. Drones can fly over forests and savannas and take images of wildlife and their surroundings. Scientists can use these images to determine the number of animals in the landscape, the overall health of the ecosystem, and what threats may exist. For example, they may use drones to count the elephants and rhinos in an area. Or map the locations of tree nesting species such as orangutans. Drones can carry different types of cameras, including standard RGB, thermal imaging, and infrared. Some drones can be launched with a simple toss into the air, while others can do vertical takeoff and landing. Some aerial drones can even take off and land in water. Drones can help scientists determine the current state of a forest, to understand whether trees have been clear-cut, burned, or replaced with crop trees like the palms on the left side of this image. Still images from drones can be stitched together to produce a picture of a larger area. When combined with data from other technologies, drone images can produce highly accurate three-dimensional renderings of an area. Data from drones can be used to corroborate data from ground surveys, and vice versa. Drones equipped with Wi-Fi can be used to retrieve images from camera traps and audio recording devices that have been set in remote locations, saving researchers valuable time. Drones are rapidly becoming an important tool in the fight against poaching. By tracking the activity of poaching targets such as rhinos and elephants, drone operators can alert law enforcement officials on the ground when poachers are active in an area. In this image, a drone recorded plumes of smoke, most likely from the fires of poachers drying bushmeat. Drones can be programmed to record compass points along with the images, which in this case could alert rangers on the ground to the locations of these fires. Using information gathered by drones, the World Wildlife Fund has been able to predict with a fair degree of certainty where poachers are likely to be and when. Armed with this knowledge, the forces on the ground can intercept poachers before they have a chance to act. According to Air Shepherd, an organization that uses aerial technology to prevent poaching, when poachers know that an area is monitored by drones, they stay away. Forest restoration projects can be really rough, but drones could help change that. In 2016, Stephen Elliott proposed that drones could be useful in vegetation restoration projects. They could be used to survey potential sites, drop weed control chemicals, deposit seeds, and then monitor the site's progress over time. Elliott believes that drones could even be piloted below the forest canopy in some instances, giving them distinct advantages over helicopters or other kinds of aerial monitoring. As an area regrows, drones could track the return of animals as well. Conservation dollars are scarce, and drones are a relatively inexpensive way of obtaining high-resolution imagery, especially when compared to buying satellite time or doing ground surveys. You can walk into your local electronics store and buy a drone with a high-definition camera capable of video and still photography, and Wi-Fi, a smartphone app, and carrying case, all for under $2,000. In addition to being affordable, drones are fairly user-friendly. Many of them can be controlled using smartphone apps. Although there is definitely a learning curve to flying a drone, it's nowhere near the amount of training needed to fly an airplane or a helicopter, and there's no need for a lengthy runway or a lot of open space, which is great when you're researching densely vegetated areas. So, do drones have a downside? Sure they do. For one thing, they run on batteries and therefore have a limited range, although this technology is improving. They can also provide a lot of images in a short time, so a fair bit of the footage is not very useful. Software is needed to automate the data analysis and to help drones be more discerning in what they capture. Since drones fly low to the ground, they can't capture the wider angles you see in satellite photos. However, they can produce real-time video and target a particular spot at whatever time the operator chooses, unlike satellites, which are only in position to capture an area at a certain time. Also, because the military uses drones in combat operations, they can tend to make people a bit nervous. Animals are not fond of them either. Eagles have been known to knock them out of the sky, and other animals have attacked them when they get too close. Drones need to be quiet so as not to disturb animals, and also not to alert poachers of their presence. Just last week, a herd of elk in Yellowstone National Park stampeded after someone flew a drone too close. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the operator did get fined for the action. Drones can be susceptible to winds, and you can't just whip out a drone anywhere you want and start flying it around taking pictures. In the US, FAA regulations require line-of-sight control, as well as adequate training and registration. Drones are banned from many public places, and in some countries, such as Kenya, private use of drones is banned altogether due to concerns about privacy and disturbing wildlife. Drones are not the ultimate answer to all conservation problems, but combined with other technologies and on-the-ground support, they can be a very effective tool for understanding and protecting wildlife.